Welcome to the Netflix Club. I'm Alex.
I'm Michaela.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy's got stuff in their mouth.
I'm Amy.
And this week we watched some good movies.
Classic flicks.
Even before we watched the movies, like for the show, we watched the Evil Dead remake.
Oh my god.
Which is such a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love every minute of that film.
It was a really good time.
Oh, except the part that we skip.
Which is
the part that Sam Raimi regrets, the tree rape scene.
I can't even, like, the fact that you can sum it up in 2 words like that is, like, so I think speaks to the infamy of it.
Yeah, how can, like, something so awful just be, like...
Exist in a movie that's pretty solid.
Yeah. Exists in 2 movies that are really solid.
Did that happen twice?
It happens in the original Evil Dead and the remake.
God, why did you keep it?
Yeah, but...
He said he regretted it, right? Like.
Yeah, but somebody else made the remake.
Oh.
Was
I
he,
mean,
like,
yeah, but if you're gonna...
He was, like, involved somehow.
Yeah, he was. He was, like, a producer,
they were like, shut up, old man.
producer, something like that, yeah. I think that Sam Raimi didn't want to sort of tamper with, like, the filmmaking process too much because he didn't want... Like, he specifically brought in somebody who was new to make a new movie.
Oh,
and so he didn't want to, like, stifle his creativity in any way by being like, no, you gotta have more references to the original.
Yeah. Which is, like, great that it's such a departure. I think about the, spoiler alert, part where she fucking rips her arm out from underneath the pinned car. I've thought about that, like, at least 4 times since having watched this a week ago.
Yeah, it's like, would you? Like,
would I? I might just die.
Yeah, I mean, I will.
And it's also amazing because it has, like, so many references still to the original, but it's, like, hidden. They're not obvious. They're, like, underneath the dialogue, or underneath, like, certain scenes, like where the girl cuts off her own arm. That happens in Evil Dead too, but, like, in a very different way. Which is just super respectable, I think.
Yeah.
Of, like, the craft, the filmmaking.
Wait, we didn't watch The Craft this week, though.
Oh, shit, you're right. But we did watch Rushmore.
What a film.
Was...
Director Wes Anderson.
Who?
Never heard of him. Boy, does he love the color yellow.
Oh my god. I feel like every time I watch a Wes Anderson film, I feel like it just came out, you know? Like, they're pretty timeless, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Which is what happens when your aesthetic is that strong.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, feature from our old friend Whiskey here.
Our mascot.
A remix.
Doesn't she know that's a closet? She can't get in there.
Yeah, well, she's a fool. Anyway.
Show off.
Rushmore, yeah, Wes Anderson films are, you said it well, already, timeless.
Yeah, I think it's just because, like, when you like, exert that much control over, like, the entire world that you're crafting, like, that can exist in any timeline.
Totally.
Because it's like, such a cohesive imagining.
Yeah, that's totally, yeah.
I, like, kept thinking about that while we were watching Rushmore, a movie that deals with, like, some things that could be, like, fairly serious and dramatic in another director's hands. And Wes Anderson, you feel like there's almost no harm that could really happen.
Yeah, everything's safe. It's like, no, he's got it under control. Like,
yeah,
he'll take care of it.
And
being Wes Anderson. Not any of the characters.
Wes Anderson, carry me away in your strong arms.
Even, like, even things that are big deals are not really that big a deal in his movies. Like, the principal or chancellor or whatever at the school has a stroke, like, halfway through the movie, and he's just fine. Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, it's like his life is different, but, like,
it's an important sort of moment where... the main character Max interacts with him, but, like, in all honesty, the stroke's not that big of a deal. In, like, the grand scheme of everything, really, like.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And, like, thinking of, like, other films even, not that that's what I'm being paid to do. I'm not being paid at all, so it doesn't matter. Like, fucking, what's that one film? Not Moonrise Kingdom, but Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
Like, people die.
Yeah.
People are murdered. And you're like, oh, what a fun jaunt.
A jolly little romp.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, so like, let's maybe jump back to sort of the premise of Rushmore if you haven't seen it. It's about a kid, Max Fisher, who attends Rushmore, which is a private academy.
A very, like, prestigious, like, very smart, very expensive private academy.
Yeah.
Who's on a scholarship.
Uh-huh.
And yet, he's failing everything.
Yeah, he'd do everything. He's the founder or president of every single club.
Which is an amazing little scene.
Yeah,
Oh my
just
God.
that little montage that's just him and some other students doing things with a little title card that's like...
In that fucking font that Wes Anderson's famous for. I can't recall what it is exactly, but it's just... You know it right now. If, like, you've seen a Wes Anderson movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's that font. It's
super
sans
perfectly
serif.
Symmetrical.
Yeah. Chunky, but, like, serious. I don't know. It's great.
It's funny because I, like, cannot picture it.
No! How dare you
So, like, if you're
me.
listening to this and you can't picture it, you're not alone.
Oh my god. I want to isolate the audience.
Oh my god.
So,
If you can't picture it, get out!
Get out.
But
I mean,
subscribe on your
yeah.
oh my god.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's involved in so many different extracurricular activities, but is not devoting attention to his studies. And I wonder if that's on purpose. It kind of mentions, he says, great line, that in response to Bill Murray's character asking, what's the secret, Max? He's like, I just believe that you have to find something that you want to do and do it for the rest of your life. And for me, that's Rushmore. So he wants to attend high school for forever.
Mm-hmm.
What a feel, too. Like, I kind of know, like, I want to just, like, be a kid forever or whatever. Like, I wanted to stay in college for longer than I did, and it's like, I don't know, I kind of related to that statement.
Yeah,
because,
totally.
Yeah.
And
It was relatable.
It's a big part of the movie, like the fact that he's so unwilling to move on.
Yeah.
And I think it's like partly to do with like his mother, because it mentions very briefly that she thought that he should go to Rushmore because he wrote this one-act play about Watergate as like an 8-year-old, and she was like, you should go to Rushmore, and then she died, I think, shortly thereafter. So I think that like it's partly his like will to attend Rushmore.
Close to her,
Yeah, it's like not moving past this period of his life that doesn't have his mom in it, which is like heartbreaking, but it's just like very glancingly mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I didn't even think of that. Like I barely thought about his mom at all, but like the fact that like he probably thinks about her all the time, because like I mean he like plans one of his like revenge pieces at her grave.
Yeah,
and like was gonna. What's the line?
I was gonna get that tree over there to fall on you. That would have crushed me like a pancake. I used to say that to my brother all the time, so that I was gonna murder him. No, that's not true. He's alive and well. Shouts out to Tyler. Yeah, and so I think that's like partly him like holding on to his mom, and then the other like parental plot is that he is like seemingly ashamed of his father, or at the very least lies about him. His father's a barber, really cute old dude. It looks like the dude in Up, but much sweeter.
Loves Max.
Loves Max so much.
Yeah, he's such a good parent. Like,
oh man.
He's not like, you're weird, like, stop this. He just, like, lets his kid, like, tries to stop him from getting hurt, but is like, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, he's great. But Max, lies about his father's profession. Says he's a neurosurgeon. Mm-hmm. He's a barber. Yeah, and then...
Well, doesn't he only lie about it to... What's her name?
To Bill Murray.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What was Bill Murray's character's name?
Herman Bloom.
There we go. I knew it was... Alright. And then the whole underpinning of the movie, in a plot that I could care just a little bit less about, is that he is... I don't need to tell you how they met, but he develops this infatuation with a teacher at Rushmore's elementary division.
Yeah, the first grade teacher. He just immediately has a crush on her and pursues it. At first very adult-like, and as it goes on, his immaturity really shows.
I mean, I think his immaturity was always obvious in, like, how ridiculous it was that he was, like, acting like an adult when he was a 15-year-old. Yeah.
And, I mean, that leads into a great joke later when Max and Rosemary, the first grade teacher, and Herman all, like, keep, like, hanging out in another cute montage. And then Herman goes to Rosemary's house and is like, oh, we don't have anything planned for today? What are you doing? Because, like, the first time that Max and her have a conversation, he's, like, speaking in long, like, very nicely worded sentences.
Wow.
And then Herman, alone with her, is saying, like, you got some carrots? And then they end up falling in love for a little while. And sort of just, like, showing, I don't know, some sort of, like, immaturity that adults have, like,
yeah, you
permanently.
Never grow up. You just
and,
look
like,
older.
Yeah.
Max acting out, like, his idea of what an adult is, and then an actual adult being like, what, can I have a carrot stick?
Maybe we could go on a walk?
Yeah, just it's super hard for them to communicate, and like it's not convincing to me. Not that it like particularly needs to convince you, because the plot will go on regardless. But just like life, boys. The
plot will go on.
Yeah. No. Fuck. Yeah. No. I don't. It's okay. They didn't. I didn't believe that they like had anything in common. Or like Herman, Mr. Bloom, and Rosemary.
Oh, I mean, I don't think so, but I think that like there was definitely some form of like probably a crush happening there. That like as they got to know each other more, they like it just didn't work out. Because Rosemary's the most adult character in this entire movie.
Oh yeah, she's great.
She has the highest level of maturity to anybody, and she pretty quickly sees that like he was married and didn't know how to like talk at all. He was like very even for like how, or actually he just like never got more mature than that first time when he was like, can I have a carrot stick?
That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
A bar low enough to step over and you trip on it.
Because she like leaves him pretty quickly.
Is that what happens? I thought that Max took pictures of them together and then like vindictively tried to get her fired, but she'd already resigned. And like maybe part of the drama, I'm not totally sure if that was the plot point, but and it's probably doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I gathered when I was watching it was that she pointed. There's some speech where Max is like, "Why did you leave him?" And she goes, because he was boring and married and immature.
And he hated himself. That was like...
Oh, yeah. That is probably
and
the most important part. Which is, like, super interesting and, like, whoever...
Sorry, I'm just remembering, like, the scene where, like, he's in the elevator and he's, like, getting wasted and, like, lights another cigarette, like, when, like, one is already... It's got, like, the two... Sorry. And that just, like... I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's totally fine. I was just gonna, like, that's what I was gonna talk about. No, it happens. Good ideas bear repeating. Bears? Where? Yeah, no, I love that subplot. And, like, for as much as Bill Murray is, like, a kind of gross dude IRL, like, just love that character. It's infinitely relatable.
Yeah.
And, like, some of the best scenes involve, I think, his overt self-loathing. The diving board sequence.
Everybody stops to look at this just pretty boring thing that he's about to do, but it's just, like...
He's so miserable in his Budweiser shorts.
Really?
Yeah. I remember, oh, man. It's just classic, like... miserable old dude. And anyway, and also the scene that Amy just mentioned wherein like he later on encounters Max after they've become enemies in an elevator at the hospital, and he's like hiding his booze bottles among like the linens. Lights 2 cigarettes, and Max is like, well, how are you doing? And he responds, I'm a bit lonely these days. Which is, like, classic. Probably one of my favorite lines from the movie. At least partly because of its delivery.
Yeah.
solid.
I agree.
Super good. And I mean, going back to a part we talked about already when he's at the grave with Max, and Max is like, I was gonna make that tree fall on you. After that scene happens and Max leaves, Herman pulls on the tree and it just falls over. So like Max was like 5 minutes away from, he had it planned out that it was gonna fall on him, and then he's like, better not. And that's a thing that I think happens in this movie a lot, where it's just like things happen that are funny, and then there's like another reason that they're funny. It's like the tree falling is already a joke, and then just like think about the extra like 5 minutes ago.
Time,
yeah. And the only note that I took during this movie, because like I didn't even feel like I had to take notes during this movie, was that when he first sees Rosemary teaching the first grade class, she's reading a huge ass book to the class called Kidnapped, with like a photo of a scary dude on the cover, which is like, I'm sure a joke about the kind of school that Rushmore is, where it's like, it's so prestigious and everybody there is so smart that they're reading huge ass novels to 6-year-olds.
Yeah, novels that look dark and scary too. Like,
yeah.
Speaking of the kind of school that Rushmore is, fucking Max's chapel partner, what a great character.
Oh my god.
Kirk or Dirk or I think it's Dirk.
I think it's Dirk as well. Yeah, let's call him Dirk, and if we're wrong, we're just gonna be wrong for a long time. Yeah, Dirk is great. And, like, I'm just thinking about, because, like, on the surface, it's, like, pretty irreverent as a film, but, like, then you think about it, there's a lot of, like, fairly complex relationships going on at the same time, which I'm super interested in, especially, like, very unconventional relationships with, like, big age gaps and, like, unlikely sympathies.
Wes Anderson, I think, definitely has a thing for, like, the unity of children in like some other movies, because like the adults are sort of like isolated, everybody's doing their own thing, but the children are usually all in gangs.
Yeah,
like in
these roving packs.
in Moonrise Kingdom, there's the campers, the Cub Scouts or whatever they're called in that movie. They are all like super organized, more organized than any adult in that movie. And like very similar in Rushmore, where like all the young kids can sort of band together and do things together, and all the adults are sort of stuck doing their own individual thing. Even Max can like put together an entire like huge play with like
real dynamite.
Wow, that's really true. And like, you know, the adults are all like actually lonely, like especially in Rushmore, the father, or Max's father, is alone. We like never see him with another adult, I don't think, until the end. Rosemary's alone. Her husband is dead. And then Bill Murray's character seems alone because his wife is like cheating on him or something, or like flirting, you know? So like everybody's alone, but like the children are never alone. Like they never have to feel that loneliness. And so like there's like that contrast, like very obvious.
Yeah, and like good point in talking about how like separate all the adults are up until the end, where Max stages this play and he like brings them all together, which is like not something that I'd considered before, about how they all kind of rally around him and like
they're all there for him.
Yeah.
And he finally like actually introduces people to his father.
Yeah.
And like is not like, this is my father, the neurosurgeon. He actually says, this is my father, the barber. A great joke comes from that too, where Luke Wilson's like, oh, I heard you were a neurosurgeon, and he goes, actually I'm a barber, but people make that mistake a lot.
Dude, I want to hang out with that dad. I want to get my hair cut.
I want to meet that dad.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, that Max's like honesty is like a very clear part of his character arc. That like he doesn't have to hide behind lies anymore. Like he acknowledges like maybe some of the loneliness of adulthood. It's kind of like a coming of age story for him. Like, but like he still sees that there are ways to connect to people, and like, I don't know, like building lives around yourself isn't the best way to do that. So
Go figure.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah. I think there's a couple different like structural elements to it that are very interesting. Sorry, Alex, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just whispering, God, what a good movie.
I second that. Excellent. So we're all in agreement.
Motion carries.
Yeah, it's just like a solid film, and it's not like too overworked. Like you don't have to think particularly hard. You can watch it just a wee bit impaired on whatever your substance is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the first time that I watched this, I was like tired out of my mind, but still like, I'm gonna stay up. I'm gonna stay up and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, good movie. I'd recommend it. Y'all want to get to the rating?
Definitely. I think this easily goes at an 8 out of 10 for me. This is a great film. I can't rank the Wes Anderson films. I was about to, but this is definitely up there.
Unique. Yeah.
If I had to rank them, this is definitely probably top 5.
Oh, nice. How many movies does he have?
He's got like
only
5.
a few more than 5. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, as stingy as I am, yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. It's like,
damn.
I know that's like very high for me, but it's good, and I'm still thinking about it and like uncovering more of like the way in which it is very cohesive. Yeah, 7. That's what I'm coming in at.
I'm gonna go with an 8 as well. I had a really good time watching it, and Wes Anderson is good at his craft, and yeah, the end.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a few drawbacks that like stop me from giving it higher than a 7, which is like, yeah, it's just a little. Well, there's no fucking people of color in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is like a consistent hallmark of Wes Anderson. Unfortunately, they're very, very white films, all of them.
That's true.
And so like that like definitely impairs my ability to like declare him like, I don't know, master filmmaker or anything, just because like you can't do that. And it's like a sorry excuse to be like, well, this is like the world I'm making, and it like doesn't need quote unquote.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, but overall, like a very pleasant experience for the most part.
Definitely. Cool.
Yeah, don't regret watching it.
Yeah, not at all. Our next film, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, also super great.
Amazing. Yeah.
This has
very
been
different
a good
from Rushmore,
week for movies.
Actually, not super different. Still kind of quote unquote coming of age.
I mean, tonally, very different. But in the sense that sort of every single thing is like very thoughtfully constructed, and like from lines of dialogue to the way that the camera's placed to the way that the lighting is, like all artfully, very artfully
deliberate.
Thought out, deliberate.
It knows its aesthetic for sure.
Yeah, it's just incredible. It's incredible as like moving cinema. It's incredible as like Alex pointed out to me yesterday. Like every single like freeze frame constitutes its own piece of art, which is like such a feat, really.
Yeah.
If you follow us on Twitter, you'll see I posted a picture from us watching the movie, and like that frame is good, and I took a couple pictures just to make sure that I had the best picture, and every single one of those pictures, that like every single screenshot from that film is gorgeous. Yeah. So good. By the way, my first note I think is worth talking about. Hot man gets a cat.
That's the premise for a solid movie. Like, it doesn't really matter the genre or the actors. Hot dude, cat, I'm rearing to go.
Yeah, that cat, like, you never see, because, like, it's so hard to put an animal in a film, I guess, and, like, to get it to do what you want. But, like, the point was that the cat was just, like, there, like, being a cat. Like, so it didn't really matter what it was doing as long as it was, like, still a cat, which, like, it can't not do that, so...
so docile and sweet.
Yeah.
That's like, you see that cat and you're like, give me, like, I want a cat just like that loves me and will stay where I put it.
Yeah, let me carry it in my arm, like, wherever I go.
Unlike some cats we know.
Not to name any names.
But yeah, this is an Iranian film, all Iranian cast. Filmed in California, I just learned.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, this is filmed in California.
Whoa.
But the film takes place in the fictional Bad City, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that till after the movie.
That it was fictional?
That the city, like, that it was a fictional town called Bad City.
Yeah,
like,
as the film was going on, I was like, it can't be, like, called Bad City. It must just be some weird translation thing. But, like, as I was doing some research about this movie, it's called Bad City.
Alright, so we got the setting down.
Yeah.
Even, like, better, though, with, like, who the main... I mean, I guess, like, not the main, but, like, who the co-protagonist is? Like, is there a word for that?
Which character are you talking
The
about?
vampire
The girl.
I think they just called her the girl.
Yeah.
Just to know what to call her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on. I don't know if there's a word for co-protagonist, but one of the main characters.
Yeah, yeah. Just, like, her presence in the city and, like, that, like, she could exist there.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, sorry, I'm getting ahead of ourselves, probably. But, like, that the main character who, like, is one, like, shred of good in the wholeness of Bad City is, like, who she, like, is drawn to, sort of. Like, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, she doesn't think she's good, which is, like,
That's
really
true.
interesting. And I, like, hesitate to even call her a protagonist just because, like, she's not necessarily good. And, like, she does a lot of I mean, everything is, like, very well justified within the framework of the movie. Like, it presents bad men and then their comeuppance. Mm-hmm. Which is an endlessly satisfying formula. But she hesitates meeting lead dude.
Arash.
And it's like, you don't know what I've done. I've done bad things. And, like, she has, like, murder not to be taken lightly. Especially on, like, the sorts of characters that she encounters. Because it's, like, a very complex and very gray understanding of morality.
Also, there's only like 7 people in this whole movie.
God,
like
it doesn't feel empty at all.
It doesn't feel. It's amazing because it doesn't feel empty, but there's so few people that we even see. Yeah, but just to give a quick rundown of the plot, Arash lives with his dad.
And his cat.
And like they don't have a whole lot of money, and they get like shaken down by this like
drug dealer
pimp
dude.
Sort of man.
Generally sketchy character.
Yeah. His dad is addicted to heroin because I assume. Because did they say it?
His wife dies.
Yeah. So it takes away his pain.
Okay, just to pause really quick, I thought that was I loved that sequence of dialogue where Mr. Bad Drug Dealer Man is talking to Arash and is like, your father is common, like everything he does is like reasonable, which is like not exactly true because he goes on and like explains some very toxic masculine behaviors where he's like, he likes women and gambling and drugs, but he doesn't say drugs, he says medicine. He takes this to make his pain go away. And that's such a, I loved that like presentation of it because it's like that is exactly why he's using drugs. It's because like he's in pain and there's an option to not be in pain, and how could you stop yourself from taking that over and over? I just thought it was like weirdly human to come from like such a sleazeball character.
Mm-hmm.
Real.
Anyway, carry on.
And that keeps happening throughout the film where, like, later when the dad is suffering from, like, severe withdrawals, he's like, I just need my medicine. I need my medicine.
I don't know if they ever call it, like, what it is.
I don't think they do.
They don't.
I think they always call it medicine. Which is just, like, amazing. And, like, a lot of, like, medication in general is already, like... I mean, heroin is I looked it up because I was, like, interested. but heroin's like a controlled, or what's the word?
Controlled substance?
Yeah, what's the
Class
1 or whatever. It's not. There's a different word for it, but where like it's used as an alternative. Like you can get a prescription for it basically if you're like.
Can you really?
If methadone isn't working for your withdrawals, you can get it to like wean you off of it. Kind of, you can get it prescribed in small doses, and then also if like for whatever reason morphine doesn't work for you, then you can get a heroin prescription. So like it's called diamorphine in like the medical community, but yeah, and like there are tons of medications that are like super easy to get addicted to. Mm-hmm. So like it's like all about the context, like because like if you're getting a medicine from like a sleazy drug dealer guy, then it's a drug. You know, it's like a
that's like definitely classism.
Yeah,
to like
completely.
A really potent degree. That's like super interesting.
Yeah.
And I think as part of like not to get ahead of ourselves, but to get ahead of ourselves, I think that is like a huge reason as to why it's like such a gray area of morality when the girl kills Arash's father.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because like of course he's done something terrible at that point. He injected someone with heroin without like against their will. But like, is that not the mark of a sick person? But the girl's priorities, as near as I can tell, lie almost exclusively in protecting women, which is like amazing.
I know. Ugh.
Yeah.
God, because like
what
I mean,
great thing.
It's just like a catharsis. Because like I've been waiting and like we all have been waiting for like a movie like this where it's women, like strong female character protects women. Like that is the overarching story here. Like the overarching morality, I suppose, is like the enactor of justice is like defending women against bad men, essentially. And it's just like
because
finally like
because the girl watches the skeezy drug dealer man be bad just like over and over, and then she follows him home and makes her way. She doesn't even have to do anything, which I love about her. She's not she's not seducing these men.
Which is like, sorry to interrupt, but like that is like the paradigm in Hollywood movies. Is like, look at her use her womanly wiles. Yeah, like, that's not.
She's not doing that.
Yeah, it's the men's badness that attracts them to her, and then like so it is like their like inherent. Like we can talk about like the badness because it's not black and white, obviously. But
well, the film wasn't black and white.
Interesting. I wonder if there's something in that. Anyway, though, yeah, it's like, she, like, never actually has to draw anyone to her. She never, like, she's never, like, it's, like, very passive on her part, and, like, everybody else.
And they project like whatever they want onto her. They're like, oh, look how willing she is. But it's like, no, like that's all you. But Alex, we cut you the fuck off.
It's all good. Yeah, no, it's just that she's not doing anything except following them, and then the men exactly as you said, they project whatever, or one of you said, project onto her whatever they want. And that's how she ends up into the drug dealer's house, so that she can reenact a scene from earlier where she like sucks on his finger very like seductively and then bites it off, and then tries to like put it in his mouth and right before like going right for his neck.
Amazing.
And so amazing.
It was like everything. When we were watching it, I said like, my only complaint is that he didn't suffer longer. Because he was just, like, such a bad dude, like, to the, like, there was no question about it. Like, he, like, withheld somebody's money, like, withheld his, like, co-worker, kind of, like, what's the,
underling.
Jeez, the woman, the sex worker.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know if he was, like, in a position of, like...
He was, like, a pimp.
Okay.
she quote unquote worked for him,
and also helped him deal drugs, right? Because she was light. I think that's what that meant. Like she was.
I mean, light just means like there's less money here than there should be. Like I don't know if she helped him deal drugs or not.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got that, and I also got like that she might be a sex worker. That's what it says on the Wikipedia, is that she's a sex worker. Yeah. But she's also like a super good character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's like
yeah.
And it asks the question like, what does she want? Like, what is she hoping for? And it's just like that never happens to women, which is just like wild. Like no one's ever like, well, what's your like secret motive? Like what do you want to be better for yourself? And those are the questions that the girl, her name's just the girl.
Her name's just the girl, yeah.
Those are the questions that the girl asks her. It's like you've lost sight of what it is you're even doing here, and like what you hope to make your life into, which is like just not included in traditional narratives, even ones that pretend to be feminist.
And I was in some way able to relate to that as well, like that monologue of hers, because like I'm working a job right now that I hate, and like it's definitely not like, I'm not going to compare it to like sex work and drug dealing, but like being stuck in a place that like is uncomfortable in order to survive is like, of course, like you have to let go of like your goals, because like it's almost like painful. It's like too painful to know that like you're not want to be somewhere else. Yeah. So that was just like really cool to like have articulated there on a level that was like relatable.
I think that's a huge part of the movie too, is where do you want to be as opposed to where are you?
True.
Because it's a movie, I mean, everyone's always walking somewhere. It's like it happens in a lot, like even Bad City itself seems like a liminal zone, because like, and people aren't working there. It doesn't show anyone working, it shows them after working, or even the little kid who's like always on his way home.
Yeah.
That he's like never quite there.
Whoa,
which is like which I think adds like some dimension of follow through to the ending, which is like I really enjoy the ending. Anyhow, because there's like a decisive decision, Lamau. There's like a decisive move to be elsewhere, and to go someplace. Like there's finally a destination.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it's like, sorry, I just wanted to say that it's like a purgatory. Like nobody's ever anywhere.
Bad City.
Yeah, they're always like in transition. They're never like with no place to go, though. Almost like no direction, I guess.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite things that happens in this movie is sort of the use of the vampire myth in tandem with the chador that the girl wears, which I pieced together sort of midway through the movie when Arash goes to a costume party dressed as Dracula with a big flowing cape and like the big collar that surrounds his head. And then I think it's just before that we see the girl riding down a skateboard with like the rows of her chador like flurrying behind her like a cape.
Amazing.
And the hood like covering the top of her head, which is just like a great way to give like that part of the costume power, or that part of just giving the chador some sort of power, which is like a popular sort of thing in the current politics of how Westerners talk about the chador and any sort of like head covering that Muslim or Middle Eastern women wear, which is that like a lot of the Western view is that like, oh, it's bad and nobody should force women to wear it, but like you can give it power, and I think that's what this filmmaker did, was give it some sort of power.
It was
by entwining it with vampires. Of course she's gonna wear something like this. She's a vampire. It was just super amazing. And that skateboard shot is very beautiful too.
Yeah, totally. And just like the way that whole thing happens was just like, because you were like, I hope she rides that skateboard, and then
and it happens, and it's glorious.
It's literally so good because like you're already in love with her, like because gosh, she's just so cool. It's like a whole montage of her putting on her makeup, and it's like very slow and awesome, and like I was actually thinking of you because you like to film people putting on makeup. So.
And also speaking of the skateboard, like how she gets it is super good too, because she goes up to that little boy and reveals herself just by showing her fangs and putting on one of the better demonic voices that I've heard, which I was like really into the way that her demon voice sounded. She was like, "You have to be good, and if you're not good, I'm gonna fucking find you.
Yeah, I'm watching you every day for the rest of your life, so you better be good." That's what, which is like, can you imagine, like, I felt kind of bad for the kid, because, like, he obviously hadn't done anything bad yet, but, like, she was like,
there's no way of knowing that, though.
That's true. If you're a kid, I don't know if you get to, I don't know, there is some kind of, like, for me, a cultural protection of, like, children, like, that I have ingrained in me. That's like, no, they can't be bad until they're, like, X age. Like, they can't know the consequences of what they're doing, but then again, that, like, contradicts a lot of my other core beliefs, so I don't know.
Anyhow, point being that I like definitely saw that as like a preventative measure.
Yeah.
Where she's like, don't become like all the other men I have to kill.
Yeah, which is why I don't think she's bad. Like, I don't think that she, like, because, like, she doesn't want to kill the kid. Like, she's like, listen, I'm a bad thing to happen to you. Like, this is, I guess I just contradict myself. Like, I'm a bad thing to happen to you. But, like, she's, like, trying to protect somebody from the horrors of her, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is that we see her do 3 kills in this movie. 2 of them are people who, like, for whatever reason at that time deserve it. Mm-hmm. But the middle one, the second person that she kills is just some homeless guy. We don't know if he's done, if he's actually done anything bad, or if he was just like there at the wrong time.
And the movie doesn't like give you any justification for that one, which I think is like score 1 for the moral ambiguity of like her way of life.
Yeah, there's no preamble to it. It's just that she walks up to him and bites him. We've never met this character before. They don't talk about him after.
It's interesting. Yeah, I wonder, like...
So I can't think that she's... I mean,
she's,
I don't
know.
know.
It's great, obviously, but I think, she... There must be something to her where, like, she has to do what she does in order to survive. Oh my god.
But it doesn't
like,
even offer that, which is, like, really interesting.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta make it up, which is, I'm just projecting. And another thing that I really liked was that, because she always has a trophy. So she always takes the watch. So she, like, at the end, when Arash was like, come with me, she was like, she, like, agreed and started shoving all the watches in her bag. Like, she had to take those with her. And that's, like, kind of, like, her burden almost. Mm-hmm. Like,
and that was also, like, a really good moment where he sort of realizes, like, he sees the cat that he told his dad to take when he kicks his dad out, which happens. And that, which is before the girl kills him and then takes the cat. And so he realizes that she's had some part in the murder of his father, and sees all of that jewelry that that she probably had something to do with the murder of the pimp drug dealer dude, and still is like, this is it's fine. I just have to get out of Bad City.
There's like a moment that I'm very interested in shortly before the end, where he like, pulls off to the side of the road. Arash is driving, the girl's in the passenger seat, and there's the cat also in the car. So the cat's coming with him, God bless. And he gets out and steps in front of the headlights, and just like, I think that that's like the moment of deliberation where he's like, clearly I'm driving away with someone who has told me that she's done bad things, who had like whatever hand in the murder of several people,
including my dad.
That's, important consideration. And I think that just, like, draws a lot of attention to the way that light is super important in the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it's constantly there. There's, like, a ton of beautiful shots where, like, part of, a character's face is obfuscated by light. Just, like, and the light source will be, like, right behind their head. Which is, of course, super important in a black and white movie. Because, like, you don't have color to rely on exactly. You have light and you have dark. And so, like, for light to be, like, a space of realization or of,
sorry.
It just bothers me so much. And that's, like, super, super important, I think, for him to have that moment of reflection. Carry on.
Wait, okay. I thought, since you said that about the light, like, I hadn't gone back and thought about that yet, but, when she meets him, he's staring at the light, the, like, street light, remember? And, like, I wonder...
Well, that's when they meet the second time. Because they meet coming out of... When she comes out of the dude's house.
I forgot about that.
But, again, he's also facing the light of... It's not exactly the same, but he is facing the light.
Yeah.
That's coming from his porch.
Interesting.
And she's walking again into the darkness.
Huh.
Yeah. And it's, like, interesting because it's not codified in, like, the way that light is good and dark is bad. It's just more like, will you choose to ignore? Or, like, will you consciously reflect? Like, what's your decision here?
Dang.
All right.
Amazing film.
I think that we could talk about this movie for days on end, but I think it's time to throw numbers on it. Amy, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. I can't even really think about why it's not a 10 out of 10. Oh my god, and the soundtrack was so good.
Oh yeah.
I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 just because, like, I don't want to
Use your 10.
Yeah.
That's real.
But yeah.
I'm gonna also give it a 9 because it's just, like, pretty impeccable. I can't imagine how it could be improved upon off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Maybe... Nope, not even gonna try. Solid fucking film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also landing at a 9 out of 10 for this one. I think that my only, like, qualm with it is there's 2 moments in the film. The first time that the girl goes to the drug dealer's house and the moment where Arash is deliberating, like, whether or not he should leave, that they go on just a little too long. Like, I have in my... I wrote down in my notes exactly what happens. He pulls onto the side of the road, gets back in, gets out, gets back in, pulls out a cassette tape, plays a song, and they drive off. This takes 5 minutes. And, like, it was very good, and, like, I otherwise didn't have a problem with the pacing, but there are few moments where I was like, this takes a little too long. But otherwise, I thought that this was great.
Yeah.
And definitely
would watch again. Yeah. Would recommend to everyone.
Yeah.
There's just, I know that there's so much that I could get out of it, like, if I watched it again. So.
Oh, yeah. I know this person, and their Instagram bio is just, go watch A Girl Walks Home Alone. I, like, totally understand that now. Like, how that's, like, the first thing you want people to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, approximately everybody I know who's seen this film has recommended that I watch this film.
And now we are also disciples.
Yeah.
Dang, yeah, that's so interesting. I think about that a lot because, like, people will recommend stuff over and over, and you're like, okay, well, it has to be good, but, like, still they'll hesitate to watch it, kind of, or, like, I do that. Mm-hmm. And then afterward, I'm like, why did I wait? Like,
yeah, so don't wait. Don't hesitate. I can't think of another rhyme.
This movie's
don't
great.
Deliberate.
There we go. Fuck. That's good. In a bad way.
And on that note...
Yeah.
We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Netflix Club.
Oh,
I felt like we were a little bit pressed for time earlier when we were talking about our movies. So I wondered if y'all had any words to say about Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, because I definitely do. About specifically the they kept cutting to like pictures of like oil rigs or oil derricks or whatever they're called, usually after the girl would bite somebody. And I thought about it, and I took it to have a meaning about like how she bites people and bleeds them dry, like sucks their blood, and how these oil rigs are bleeding the land. And like at the same time having this like powerful feminist message with the like vampire protecting women and killing bad dudes. It also has like some political message about like like invading a country for their oil
war. Yeah, totally.
Wow, yeah, I'd say that location in general has a huge impact on the movie. As far as like, this doesn't seem like a particularly habitable place. Yeah. Like everything is sort of a psychic drain on the people who live in this neighborhood or this city specifically. Yeah, and like oil and power, like that being like a weird featured player in the movie. So they like meet at the power plant, the girl and Arash.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was his name. Glad. Yeah. Which is like a weird thing to sort of gather around, I think, to be like, yeah, meet me at the power plant that we unspokenly know the location of, and like for some reason use as a rendezvous. It's just like a really visually incredible backdrop, with like an added and very potent layer of environmentalism and beyond that. Like,
I wonder how that ties into, sorry if I interrupted you, but wonder how that ties into like the stuff about light we were talking about earlier. And like the focus on like power is in like electricity, I guess, and like just like the way that like, I don't know, it's probably not so elaborate as all that, but we were talking about the light earlier and the power plant and like the oil rigs were, you know, it's all just connected.
Well, I mean, another a little interesting thing, speaking of light, is that like the killings happen at night because using vampire rules, they have to happen at night. But all the shots of those little like oil things, it's pure sunlight. Like it's the sun is shining down on the landscape, and all you can see for like miles is these things digging for oil.
Dang. Yeah, and during the day we get scenes of just like very barren, like the ditch that Arash walks over in the beginning is full of bodies that and we see like the girl disposing of a body in the ditch, and we just like, it's just like an accepted part of Bad City is like the bodies in the ditch, like, yeah, like he doesn't even give it a look, like it's just like,
even the place that he's hanging out at the beginning of the movie is just like some weird abandoned shed, and then he looks over, walks inside of it, and comes back out with a cat.
Totally unexplained and like pretty great.
Yeah,
that's true. I didn't even remember that.
Very, very beginning.
Yeah.
And we did touch on this, but I want to touch on it again. The soundtrack is like so good.
Yeah.
Every single song is so good.
Really well chosen.
Yeah.
I love that like there's sort of a duality, or I wouldn't even call them a duality because they're not opposed, but as far as the girl and her character, like there's something almost sort of whimsical and youthful about her. At the same time that she's like perpetrating these like visceral murders, she also really loves vinyl, and there's like a lot of scenes that are gorgeously shot of her dancing in her room or just listening to music. And then all of the songs are like pretty mod, very like electronic based, and yeah, there's like I feel like that's an element of the unexpected, that she gets to like have that many dimensions, which is like part of what makes this such a good film.
Yeah. And one last thing that's important for me that I wanted to talk about was that like I am like a half Iranian person, sort of like very like disconnected from a lot of that culture, but I know a little bit about everything from Iran, based off of stories that my dad and like my other family has told me about, and just like seeing this like story about Iranians was very cool, and like seeing parts of my culture that I like knew about and learning like other things about it, and just like the whole experience for me felt very like there was like an extra level of my engagement with it because of its like where it comes from.
Totally. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, at some points I like, because I've like met and talked to a lot of your family too, and I was like, oh, that's cool, like with the stirring the tea with the rock candy sugar, which like I think, oh, there you go, which I think your dad has talked about or something.
It's good for your stomach. If you have a stomach ache, you drink tea with the rock candy.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just really cool to be immersed in something that wasn't like Western culture, I guess, because it was like obviously a departure.
Well, speaking of being disconnected from Western culture, we've chosen our movies for next week. And I have chosen an Israeli film that I love a lot. It's also sort of like a horror thriller thing. Big Bad Wolves. Available on Netflix. I really love that movie, but just be warned that it is like it's like not exactly gory, but there are moments in that film that are very like visceral and make you sort of like the whole body sort of like tense up because of how intense the depictions of pain are. But at the same time, the movie's got a good like dark humor aspect to it. So be aware of that before you go into it. I don't think that's a movie that a lot of people should go into blind, or at least not knowing that aspect of it. But if you're down for that, maybe watch with us. And our other film for next week is...
I got to pick it, and I picked Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which was one of my favorite movies for a really long time. And then they took it off Netflix, which sucked. But now it's back, so that's cool, and we're gonna watch it. Yeah, and it's a really great movie that combines like it's kind of a romance, like drama sort of film with like a sci-fi element to it, I guess. I wouldn't call it like sci-fi, but it's definitely got like it's Charlie Kaufman, which like he's pretty good at bending your mind a little bit, so
it's a really good screenwriter.
Yeah. Yep.
Tight.
So,
you're probably listening to this podcast somehow, but in case you didn't know, you can listen to us on YouTube or SoundCloud or iTunes, all under the name The Netflix Club. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ / The Netflix Club. We're on Twitter at the _Netflix Club. And we're on Tumblr at thenetflixclub.tumblr.com.
I'm so impressed we managed to get all of those handles.
Yeah.
Good for us.
I Googled us. I Googled the Netflix Club, and you get not redirected, but one of the top suggestions is at the Netflix Club, but not ours. Like, some other one that's just hasn't been in use for 6 years.
For sure.
Don't go to that one.
Underscore.
But yeah, check us out. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on YouTube or SoundCloud. However you want to listen to us, we got options.
Yeah. Maybe you want to like link to stuff in the
definitely.
description,
There will be links in the description. Yeah, you can find the whole thing, everything that you need is down there. And so with that, I'm gonna say goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.